This is your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin, in Tampa Bay. The sun rises on a new era of football in the Tampa Bay area. Welcome to the USL Super League. Hey, it's your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin, back again with another away day vlog. This time is the first ever women's match on this channel, first ever USL Super League match, and first ever match for the Tampa Bay Sun as they take on the Dallas Trinity today at their Riverfront Stadium. It is at a high school, Blake High School, but they sunk $6 million into renovating this stadium to be ready for USL Super League soccer. Of course, Super League is a first-tier women's league in the United States, along with the NWSL. This is their inaugural season. Now, normally at this time, I would tell you how the teams are doing going into this one. I have nothing to go off of. This is their very first game, and this is their very first season, so it's a lot of new faces. Tampa Bay has a very international roster full of players that have played overseas and also at the higher levels here in the United States as well. So they also have a really good social media game as well. I'm seeing a lot of Tampa Bay Sun gear just around this stadium. They've done a great job getting into the community. This place sits over 5,500 fans. And this game is a sellout. It's sold out. You cannot buy another ticket at game time. There was the straight ticket here or there before the game, but no, it's a complete sellout, which is very impressive. Carolina, in their match yesterday, also sold out their 10,000 seat stadium as well. So very impressive stuff here. Let's see the first ever match of the Tampa Bay Sun in the USL Super League. Let's see if this stadium holds up. It is an away day review, so I'm going to be reviewing the stadium, I'm reviewing the game quality, the value, and the vibes as well. So here we go, let's get to it. So the taxis were a great idea in theory, but the problem is they're not frequent enough and we got a big line. So we're just gonna hoof it.
I am the founder of the Heatwave, the first supporters group for the Tampa Bay Sun.
This has to be an incredible moment for you.
This is up there with my college graduation, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have been waiting for this, I have been working for this, I have been, I can't even put it in words.
Now, the club was announced about a year and a half ago, but like, how long have you and others have been hoping for a women's club? It's got to be, this has got to be years and years and years, right?
I had a Twitter account called Do the Rowdies Have a Women's Team Yet? And every day for at least 3 years it tweeted no.
Yeah.
And just waiting for one, because we were supposed to have one in 2020 and then COVID happened. It was a mess. So thank God the Sun are here to save us.
Yes, exactly. Although right now it's punishing us because it is coming down very much like a heat wave.
Yes.
Like a heat wave. So the supporters group, I mean, you're the founder of it. I mean, tell me a little bit about like how it got started.
I mean, honestly, it was just a bunch of people who were super excited for the women's team. We all came together. One of my friends honestly pulled the name like just out of his brain. We thought the heat wave was great and we ran with it. And I have had so much help. I had someone, they wanted to zone the logo for free. They designed the website for free. That's still working on it. This scarf that I'm wearing was designed by a member. I have just had so much help. and has made it so easy, honestly. It has not been difficult.
And how's the club been to work with in terms of working with them and getting set up over here?
Absolutely phenomenal. They just had us out at the facilities to talk about how we want the game day set up, what we need, what we're looking at. They had us out there last week. We got to see the training facility. We got to meet a whole of the front office. It was really, really great. The Sun have been like nothing but gung-ho. They know that the 12th man is the supporters group.
It's obviously your first game here, but you're promising some big vibes today.
Yes. We have drums, we have smoke, we have flags, we have vibes. We are going to bring it.
Sun FC! We'll stand and sing till victory!
There it is, the first ever kickoff for the Tampa Bay Sun and the Dallas Trinity. So my seat got kind of crowded out by people that got there before I did. So, you know what? I'm from St. Louis, so I'm used to standing for games, so this'll do. Good look there for the Tampa Bay Sun. Dallas Trinity having the ball for most of the first half, mostly in Tampa Bay's territory. But Tampa's had a couple chances where they've been able to break down the field and get opportunities in the box like that, but still 0-0. Ooh, wipeout. And there it is, the first ever goal for Dallas Trinity in stoppage time at the end of the first half. First goal of the game, 1-0. By the way, shout out to the Tampa Bay Sun Bridge Ultras catching the game from a real bird's eye view from the bridge overlooking the stadium. So yeah, pretty cool. I got my selfie with WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. He's here in the owner's box, and so yeah, cool to see him hanging out here and seeing the sellout crowd. I mean, I know Titus is from Tampa, so yeah, cool to see him here. Sold out crowd here, first ever game in Tampa. You've got to be excited.
It's unbelievable. The energy here is off the charts. The fans are incredible. The players they were ready to go right from the jump. It's been an amazing day, and yeah, we're pumped.
Absolutely, and you know what? This has been a successful launch for you because I saw the Carolina game was a sellout with over 10,000 people. So overall, got to be a great opening weekend for you.
Yeah, it's cool. Carolina was like a... Sorry, I get so excited about the soccer.
I know, right? No, you're fine. I mean, it's almost like you're the president of a soccer league or something.
You hear the fans, start to hype up, and you got to take a peek. So
definitely.
Yeah, we had 10,000 fans last night in Charlotte. We were sellout in Spokane, Washington too. Actually, the Spokane Zephyr hosted Fort Lauderdale United last night. So we've had 3 sellout games this weekend. I think it's an indication of how excited the fans are for women's professional soccer, and that's our ethos. We're trying to bring professional women's soccer closer to home for more people and more communities across this country. country, and this weekend is a demonstration that people want it.
So for those that might still be learning about the women's game here, of course there's also the NWSL, also a Tier 1 league. You're a Tier 1 league as well. What's your relationship with the NWSL, and how do you kind of, I don't know if you like work together, but like I guess work alongside each other?
Yeah, it's great. The NWSL has done amazing work over the past several years, and it's been amazing. It's been incredible to watch their growth and development. And for us coming into the landscape, we've seen opportunities to collaborate with them, with players. We've had players loaned between teams, and I think that's a great opportunity for us to work hand in hand with them to elevate the women's game across this country. And we're excited about the future growth and where we're all headed together. There's what's that saying? A rising tide raises all ships, and I think together the future of women's soccer in the United States is incredibly bright.
And something that I heard a lot today, speaking of the growth of soccer, will there be a women's Open Cup?
Oh, I'd love to see it. A U.S. Women's Open Cup, I'd love to see it. What an opportunity. Now we've got 2 pro leagues and a ton of amateur leagues across this country too. And I think, it's challenging with the schedule. It'll be a bit tricky to navigate, but there's enough women and enough teams that want to play in it. So yeah, I hope we see a future.
The streak continues. What streak, you ask? Well, the streak of messy jerseys that I have found at USL away days on this channel. And to answer your question, yes, I did find one at the Tampa Bay Rowdies game. That vlog will be out later this week, and this one will be a little different. The side netting. Hey Rob, you know what's most epic? Having seatbacks at games.
Agreed.
These are not bad. You know what else is not bad? The sun disappearing in the sky. That's epic. What a save. Fresh legs for Tampa on this corner kick. Ball into the box. Headed! It's in! The first ever Tampa Bay Sun goal! When in doubt, cowbell. And after a 1-1 draw, we've now hit the constructive criticism portion of this video, better known as the away day review, and I do have to give some tough love to the Tampa Bay Sun here. I did enjoy my time overall, but I know others like Rob didn't, and there were some very first game ever things that kind of bugged me. First things first, the stadium itself, and the Sun, I think, did a very respectable job of turning a high school stadium into something that actually doesn't look bad on the surface. They put $6 million into converting this stadium, and for the most part, it's suitable. But the first gripe is the seats themselves. The bleachers on the southern half are just that, bleachers with no seat backs. And the problem isn't the bleachers themselves so much. The problem is when I purchased these tickets back in July, the photo on SeatGeek showed seat backs for these seats. And since I don't live in Tampa and I haven't followed the developments of the club closely, I had no clue these were bleachers. And neither did a lot of the fans around me know that either. So word to the wise, if you're ever going to a Tampa Bay Sun game at Riverfront Stadium, sections 107 to 115 are the ones with the brand new seat backs. Just saying, don't make our mistake.
Another issue is there is very little cover from the sun at the stadium unless you're toward the parking garage. A major knock of Union Omaha Stadium was that the supporters section stared directly into the sun. The Heatwave have the exact same problem. But it's not just the supporters section that struggled. My friend Rob had a very simple review of these two problems.
It's brutal.
Concourses weren't terrible to walk through, but definitely on the snug side. Restrooms were fine, but they were in the high school. Now, if a high school has a problem supplying enough restrooms, then that's a whole nother video altogether. No problems here, though, although water fountains were lacking and lines for drinks were always long. The ferries were a neat idea, but there was too much of a line for them. I think there was more demand than there was actual supply of ferries. We'll talk more about the parking in the value section. I do have some things to say about that. The seating and the sun problems are going to be tough to overcome, but it's worth noting the club hopes to have its own stadium in Ybor City in the coming years, so this is a temporary place. And again, it doesn't look bad at all from the outside, and it's a good location next to downtown Tampa along a nice riverfront. The Heatwave do seem to be content with it as well, despite the problems.
I love it. I think it's phenomenal. I love it. It doesn't look like a pop-up stadium. It looks like a stadium that has been here and has just been renovated and improved upon. And I love that they're giving back to the community. Blake now has this beautiful FIFA-grade turf field to play on for their soccer, their football team. I'm so glad. It's right off 275. It's not even too far if you're coming from St. Pete. It's not that far if you're in Tampa.
To me, the negatives really weigh down the positives, though. Being maybe a bit misled on the bleacher seating and the lack of cover are big things, but location and setting do salvage Riverfront Stadium a bit, and it's not a baseball field, it is an actual soccer pitch, so I'll give it a 5.5. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on game quality for one reason. This was the first ever game for either team. That means players are playing together for the first time, and if you've ever played soccer, you know how team chemistry is important to the game. The game had a tough time getting into a flow, passes had trouble connecting, there were a fair bit of turnovers, but there was also some quality talent on the field as well. Ashley Orcas for Tampa Bay was an absolute wall in net and made some really big stops. Quite frankly, she's the biggest reason Tampa Bay even got away with a point. And both goals from Dallas and Tampa Bay were very nice headers, so there is definitely room to grow here, and I think the quality of play will improve as the season goes on and as teammates get familiar with one another as well as their rivals in the league. So I'm going to grade this one on a little bit of a curve with a 6.5. Yes, the game was kind of a mess at times, and a lot of the game wasn't particularly pretty, but again, this was the first time these women were playing with each other, much less opponents, and there was quality that shined through, and I will be following this league to see how the quality improves because I think the talent is there, the chemistry just needs to get there, but that'll come with time. On value, tickets were pricey, but if you're selling out the place, I really can't complain about prices. Clearly there's a demand, and my bleacher seat was $40. Supporters were a little less, other seats were a little higher, and these were the only seats for sale on the day of the game that you're seeing here, so it's kind of hard to really compare. But again, concession lines were super long, but I wasn't that patient to wait in line for any of these. I did see beer prices were about $8 for your typical American domestics and $10 and above for better quality beer, which is about standard. Food prices seemed all right. There was also other food trucks as well there. Now we get to the merch shipping container. Yeah, this place was not great if you're claustrophobic. I mean, again, this was a work with what you got kind of a thing. They've also had pop-ups throughout the weeks that are probably not just better laid out, but more suited to handle fans. The pop-ups worked. This setup, however, just did not. Jerseys were pricey at $100. I was tempted, but not at that price. Everything else seems kind of standard pricing. The inaugural season scarf was $25 for a summer scarf, and they sold commemorative pin sets for about $13. I feel that was fair. But parking, this is also where the Sun lose points. $30 for 2 lots next to the stadium and $40 in the garage. Quite frankly, that is a ridiculous price to charge for parking. I'm sorry, but it just is. That's more than some tickets, though these guys might have had the right idea.
So I don't know how long it will be until the Sun cracked down on this, but it costs $40 to pay in the parking garage, and those fans get to have a bird's eye view of the game.
Otherwise, get ready to walk. There is a nice food market, though, across the river that is a great place to hang out before the game, and there were a lot of Sun fans there as well. But it is about 3/4 of a mile across a pretty tall bridge, and the ferries, while a nice idea, weren't running on the fastest time frame to accommodate everyone. It also costs just $10 to park at this market, but Rob and I found a street spot a block north for free. So there's value to be had for parking if you know where to look. So there was value to be had, but the parking prices did irk me a little bit. But I really can't argue against these ticket prices because it was a sellout, and I can't argue against the merch prices because everyone and their mother was already decked out in Tampa Bay Sun gear, and if they weren't before the game, they were decked out during the game. So the pricing is really matching the demand here, and I have to be fair with these prices. But I will say the $100 jerseys and the high parking do knock this down a fair bit. I'm going to still give this a 7, though. It's not bad. I mean, it could be better in areas, but it's also not bad in others, and I like that food market that you can hang out at before the game. And now we get to the vibes, and I have to say something off the bat. A lot of times in these videos, I tend to zero in on the supporter section a bit. Sometimes the supporter section does a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to crowd atmosphere, and sometimes I simply just find myself in one of these supporter sections for these videos. And while I did hang out with the Heatwave a bit and even scored myself a scarf of my own, the Sun fans are getting a good score here, and the supporter section was a part of the ensemble, but they weren't the ensemble. There was legit excitement and buzz around the stadium. This was a brand new team in their first ever game, and fans were curious to see how the Sun would do, what the game day experience would be like, and there was also a fair bit of positivity all around when people weren't struggling with the Sun or the other issues I mentioned earlier. But was it the most vocal crowd? No. But I'm willing to blame the elements a bit for that. The sun and the weather was kind of oppressive, but fans were engaged in the game for the most part. And the Heatwave, for being a supporter section in its first ever game, brought a lot of fun and vibes to the table. I'm sure some of them are from Rouse Mob over at the Rowdies, but I think there were members like Liz earlier that were happy to have a team of their own in their own group. There was smoke, drums, chants, and it generally looked like everyone was having a pretty good time. So if you're there to cheer on the Tampa Bay Sun, and if you do, remember to bring a strong pair of sunglasses to deal with the actual sun in the sky, this might be my favorite place in the whole stadium. There's an intrepid spirit here, and Sunday was the start, I think, of something very solid. So I'm going to give the vibes an 8. It's an inaugural day. There's curiosity and buzz around the stadium. It was a sellout. People were engaged in the game. Maybe this could have been higher if there were more goals and more action in general to react to positively, but they did get high for Brooke Hendricks' first ever Sun goal, and this gives Tampa Bay Sun a total score of 27, which does put it in last place among the teams I've covered so far, but just a half point behind Union Omaha's Werner Park.
I hope some of the things that I said during my review are taken constructively. There is potential here, I think. It's the first game, and this was kind of a stress test, I think, for Tampa Bay Sun. This is the game that they're going to use. They're going to take all the things that worked, all the things they didn't. The Sun's going to be a problem. I mean, it's literally in their name. But they have that new stadium coming in a few years. Hopefully, this is a temporary place. But, 5,000 plus here for women's soccer in America, that's pretty impressive. There's a lot to build on here. There is a lot of positivity and a lot to build on here. So if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more. Sporting Kansas hosts Indy 11, the last remaining USL Championship team in the Open Cup, on August 27th. I will be there for that one, and I'll bring that to you at home. Help me get there. Join my 99-cent supporters section. It's just 99 cents every single month. Helps get me to games like this, and you join these fine people here as well. This is your Soccer Zombie, Tom Franklin, and again, I'll have my Tampa Bay Rowdies video out a little later this week, but if you've enjoyed my USL stuff, as the most epic man in YouTube behind me right here, Robb Zipp, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, bro.
But if you enjoyed my USL videos, I got a whole playlist of them right up here. You can check them out for yourself and see what lower league soccer in America is all about.